Nature loves him. Evil hates him. And misses him.
Background. Action!
One of the world's classic action heroes is coming to the big screen in Paramount Pictures, The Phantom. The Phantom's journey has followed a fascinating path. From his comic strip creation to international fame to serial stardom in the 40s.
Sound the drums and tell all the jungle tribes the Phantom is still a man who never dies.
And now a major motion picture.
This thing is gonna rock you, you know, it's gonna like freak you.
The legend of the Phantom lives on as he fights piracy, cruelty, and injustice.
He was the sort of original superhero. In terms of comics, he was probably the first.
Seeing the Phantom, you know, just him in his costume and the white horse and the wolf and the skull cave, he's a total mystery.
This is the kind of film I always dreamt of being in when I watched films.
I love this! Who was that guy?
Somebody I already killed.
Well, guess what? He's back.
60 years after he was created, the Phantom is still the most widely read superhero comic strip in the world today. A character both unique and enduring. Translating the Phantom's ultimate adventure to the screen is director Simon Windsor of Free Willy and Lonesome Dove.
It's action-adventure with a twinkle in the eye. The Phantom movie was really the originator of all those kind of cliffhanger serials and the kind of comic that inspired the Indiana Jones movies.
Looks like I got a plane to catch.
Starring as the Phantom and his alter ego Kit Walker is Billy Zane.
It's a very uncommon hero. You know, the Phantom has no superpowers. You know, he is quite human and does bleed, but he loves what he does. He really genuinely likes it.
Screenwriter Jeffrey Bones' Lethal Weapon series and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was attracted to the essence of this character.
It's a classic. Like Batman and Superman, it stood the test of time. The Phantom is an old-fashioned comic book hero. He gets by on his wits and his wiles, his physical ability. And I think there's a nice element of fantasy here because he lives in a fictitious jungle. He rides a white horse. He has animals for friends.
Watch him, devil. He moves. Eat him.
The true inspiration for this movie came from the very first Phantom comic, which introduced the character, introduced his world, and was set in the 30s.
The Phantom was among the first comic strip heroes, predating Superman and Batman. He was created in 1935 by Lee Falk, who was inspired by the heroes of classic mythology.
As a boy, I loved the stories of gods and heroes. Greek, Roman, Indian, Scandinavian. And the Phantom came out of all that. He's a very physical man. He's very strong. And he follows the oath to combat piracy, cruelty, and injustice.
The legend began 400 years ago when a small boy witnessed his father's savage murder at sea by pirates. Washed ashore near the Bengala jungle, the boy was raised by natives and swore an oath to fight for justice. That boy became the first Phantom, creating a sacred tradition passed down from father to son over 20 generations.
According to legend, he's immortal. Been around for 4 centuries.
Believing the Phantom to have survived the centuries unchanged, he was dubbed the Ghost Who Walks.
I've done 1,000 stories of the Phantom over a period of 60 years. It's in 500 or 600 papers around the world. There are about 25 languages. And it has a daily readership, which amazes me, of 100 million people every day.
In these unexplored jungles live the native tribes who for generations have been ruled by by a great leader, the Phantom, the ghost who walks.
He very even strong.
In the 1940s, the Phantom inspired a movie serial starring Tom Tyler.
No, don't kill him. Moko used thunderhead arrows, see?
In these adventures, the Phantom confronted a number of villains and cliffhanger endings. The challenge for the filmmakers of this latest Phantom was to recapture the magic of the original comic strip.
Good, okay, print that.
A key aspect involved casting the right lead actor. For Billy Zane, destiny played a role.
If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Phantom is the only comic I ever collected. I read my first, and I collected late, you know. As an adult, I got into him. And I think if there was one role I was ready to play, it was this one.
It's pretty hard to imagine anyone else as the Phantom just because he looks so like the character, and he's worked really hard to get himself in the right physical shape, and you need to be in great shape to even dare to put on the costume.
The physical aspects of the character appealed to Zane. He spent more than a year preparing to play the role.
I studied the cat-like movements and the comics themselves, you know, which have very distinct poses, just really great lines, and I tried to put as much of that body language into the film.
You've got something that belongs to me.
His physical regimen included 2 to 3 hours a day of weight training and aerobics, plus some more unconventional methods.
The iron ball is an ancient Chinese secret. It's like a shot put, basically, that if you're doing a strike or a hook, it forces you to use your hips to support the blow and keep your balance moving in a very fluid motion. It's adding definitely a degree of confidence, you know, for one, the stamina that's going to be required. You know, leaping bushes, leaping into saddles, you know, over rocks, you know, doing definitely some hair-raising stuff.
The Phantom must rely on his physical prowess to battle the villains, along with the knowledge passed down by generations of Phantoms. Living up to his heritage is a daunting task.
Got big boots to fill, because like 20 Phantoms came before him. And what's interesting about this bill is, you know, this 21st Phantom has to prove his mettle, has to prove himself to the ghost of his dead father.
You turned over one of the skulls of Tuganda to the same Brotherhood. Have you any idea what it means if the Brotherhood gets control of the skulls?
They'd be invincible.
And stop them. You're the only one who can.
Now you're...
Oh, it is beautiful.
I used a little toothpaste on it. It polished up so good.
Drax's key ally and femme fatale is the provocative Zala, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Zala's part of Drax's team. She's the pilot, and she's adventure-seeking, highly sexually charged, I think. I bet you're better than good.
There's an old jungle saying, never point a gun at someone because it just might go off.
Lost hands. I like that in a man. I mean, she's after men. Sex.
Tie her up.
I've played a lot of goody-goodies, so this is a nice change to be able to have some fun and to, you know, to play the period as well, to play 1930s New York. I mean, just the scale of the production was awesome.
The action of this story brings the Phantom and his alter ego, Kit Walker, to the streets of 1930s New York. To transport the audience back in time, the filmmakers recreated Manhattan on a massive scale.
This movie has been an extraordinary experience for me. I grew up watching those period films late at night when I was a kid, and it's almost as if I'm able to go back in time and be in one. The sets are enormous. We got to New York Street, we had 200 vintage automobiles with hundreds of extras, and that's seldom done anymore, and it's been very exciting.
I'm going with you.
Diana.
Where to now, sir?
Museum of World History.
Well, you heard the lady.
The key woman in Kit Walker's life is Diana Palmer, a socialite played by Christy Swanson.
Let's go.
Not so fast. Why should I go with you?
Trust me, Diana.
Diana Palmer, she's just very feisty, and she go out there and experience life and have adventure.
Get ready.
Get ready!
I think she's attracted to the mystery of it all. Here's this man who's big and strong, and he looks very good in his purple tights, so but what woman wouldn't be attracted to that?
This is a rescue.
Thanks. You've done a good job. I can take it from here.
When Diana was created in the original comic strip, she was a liberated woman ahead of her time. Not only was she intelligent, but she was also a world-class athlete.
She's a boxer back in college, and so they're tying some of that into this story. It makes it a lot of fun. I get to do a lot of fun fighting scenes. I was throwing some punches.
One of the film's key action sequences takes place in the heart of city traffic at night, when the Phantom finds himself in hot pursuit.
We're doing horseback chases through traffic and jumping along taxis in Manhattan rush hour 1936.
The police are after the Phantom, and he has to make his escape across a busy Fifth Avenue and jumps from rooftop to rooftop of cars, and eventually ends up stealing a policeman's horse and galloping off down the street through traffic.
Once he's on board.
The challenge of coordinating this difficult stunt was given to stunt expert Billy Burton.
What I'm trying to do is take this guy out of the jungle, put him in the city, and let him use the jungle instincts to get him about town. I'll leap in on this car, to a roof, to a horse.
Miniature cars were used to block out the stunt. The risks were high, and timing was everything. One slip could mean disaster.
Okay, guys, this is it. This is the safety meeting, okay?
You've all seen it, we've rehearsed it. Main thing is if the kid slips and falls, you don't run him over.
If there's any question, don't go for it. Just freeze on the car you're on.
Guys, man up, let's try it.
This will be picture. Let's make ready for picture, please. Let's start the bike. Ready, and rolling. Cars go, cars go.
134 out, we'll take 2.
Action!
We really wanted a fantastic contrast to the busy streets of New York where the rest of the story takes place. And Thailand is a very exotic country. It's got a stunning landscape. And also there's this great sense of mystery about the place. Mountains shrouded in mist, and water's the most brilliant blue color. And so it helps create this really extraordinary world that the Phantom comes from.
Thailand is a wonderful place to film and has some of the most gorgeous scenery I've ever seen, but the weather hasn't cooperated too much. We're a month into the dry season now, but the dry part of the dry season hasn't shown up.
The biggest challenge was the weather. We shot my last movie down here, and we didn't have one day of rain. And first 23 days shooting Phantom, we had 23 days of rain. Day after day, you get grey skies, and then down the rain comes, and it affects lots of things. You can't gallop horses fast over muddy ground, you can't drive trucks fast, so you're continually not being able to finish scenes.
The stunt vehicles were constantly getting stuck in the muddy lowlands. And the roads to the mountain locations were nearly impassable. Finding a way through the mud required improvising miles of their own wooden road. To reach the most remote locations, the filmmakers had to trek through the dense jungle on foot.
If you want the film to look different, then you have to go to remote places where everything has to be lugged in by hand. It's not like making a little intimate studio film. It's a big sort of military operation. And how we got out of there alive is beyond belief, but somehow we did.
One of the key jungle locations is the Phantom's mythical Skull Cave.
The Skull Cave is the headquarters of the Phantom. It's like the, like the Bat Cave.
Which, of course, Batman stole.
And the amount of detail is extraordinary. It has a radio room. It has a chronicle room where the past 400 years of Phantoms, all their adventures are chronicled. And it has a treasure room and a skull throne where the Phantom rules from.
He's got a swinging pad. The Phantom setup is pretty tricked out. There's lots of interesting touches like Moroccan rugs and Tibetan tables and goblets and a cool fireplace.
Everything's there that he needs. He's got a nice bed and all these things. He has a cushy pad, definitely.
It's very imaginative, and it's kind of that boy's adventure stuff. And it has a certain romance about it, too.
I actually got to live a fantasy. We were on this gorgeous beach in Thailand, white sand and crystal blue water, and we got to do this running shot, and we just took off in a full gallop and riding in the water, splashing. I was laughing and I was just having the time of my life. It was so much fun.
The Phantom's sidekicks were not the only animals to be found on the set. In fact, it was the local wildlife that would pose the greatest danger to cast and crew.
Don't ever try this at home, okay? We found a really big, large Asian scorpion, which they pack quite a wallop. If you get stung on the hand, it paralyzes the arm for about 24 hours. Wow! It's a Malaysian pit viper. And then we adjusted one of the logs so we could get a camera next to it, and there was this Malaysian pit viper on there. Real chunky guy had eaten a large frog. And they're very poisonous. Got some nice fangs on him. That'll get your attention.
Action!
Filming the Phantom's most dangerous encounters required a team of the world's best stuntmen who created some of the most incredible action sequences ever captured on film.
What's really great about this film is it's really full on. There's some great transfers from airplanes to horseback. And there's the great sequence of the truck.
You must have hit him.
I'm trying to rescue the skull and discover there's a young boy who was shanghaied into driving this across this precarious rope bridge.
The guy driving the truck kicks him out of the truck, and Phantom manages to grab onto the door just as the truck rolls onto the bridge.
And I'm dangling from a door of this many 100-foot gorge. I climb into the truck to find him, and the whole thing goes like haywire, and ropes snap and vines break, and the thing just starts to rotate.
It turns upside down, and the truck becomes entwined and just suspended by the vines of this bridge.
Now I'm trapped in the back with the kid. It's pretty perilous.
It's a very involved sequence. The special effects involved in tipping this bridge over, the engineering involved was enormous.
The bridge was constructed from the ground up over a rock quarry deep in the Thai jungle. It measured 150 feet across and was suspended 60 feet above the ground by 4 reinforced steel cables. 250 tons of steel and concrete anchored the bridge, while a cable and winch system would both move the truck into position and support it while upside down. Buried underground were the hydraulics that would cause the bridge to tip over.
They've never done anything like this before in the movie business. They've built a couple suspension bridges that I'm aware of, and none of them have ever been set up like this to flip upside down 180 degrees with a truck on it. So it's a one-of-a-kind thing.
And bridge! Action!
The Phantom is actually hanging off the door of this truck on the bridge 50 to 75 feet off the ground. I mean, it was very scary. If you fell off the bridge, you would be dead.
That's a cut. That's a cut.
Good work, guys. Very good stuff.
They built an incredible bridge, but the gorge was only 50 feet deep, and Simon wanted the gorge to be more in the order of several hundred feet deep. So I knew that we were going to have to extend the sides of the canyon and make the gorge 3 or deeper than it really was.
To accomplish this, the effects team filmed a 750-foot deep gorge in Northern California, which they would combine with the original footage from Thailand.
We were really lucky when we shot this. It had just rained the night before and the river was really full, so we got some really good whitewater here, which is exactly what we wanted for the shot. And we rotated it and fit it into the bottom of our canyon and put that in. It was kind of like the final touch. Simon had seen the shot without this river in here, and when we put that in, it really sold him.
Pretty perilous. It's like, it wasn't a good day unless there was an ice pack present, you know what I mean?
With incredible stunts, spectacular locations, and a unique superhero, the Ghost Who Walks truly comes to life in The Phantom.
It's been very exciting to see my people come to life. These are all marvelous actors, and finding an actor like Billy Zane to play the Phantom is wonderful.
Just a kid's fantasy. This was like, we're making movies. This is a movie.
All right, gentlemen, nobody...
Kindly pardon my error. I guess not.
Comedy, action, adventure. It's just a really exciting film.